So have you guys ever looked at other people's photos like online, whether it's on Instagram or any other platform, and just been like, what? How do you guys do such crazy edits on photos? And when you try to do the same thing, it just doesn't turn out being like as dramatic and as crazy. I know that that's happened to me in the past, and that used to happen to me a lot, because I've figured out a sort of cheat code to make your photo edits look crazy, even if the original photos aren't super amazing and like super poppy. Maybe you went to go shoot a sunset and it wasn't that like nice of a sunset. There was no orange, no clouds in the sky. I'm gonna show you guys a way to almost guarantee getting like super sick images and making sure that your edits are maximizing the potential of that photo. The way that we're gonna be doing this is by using a new artificial intelligence software from Skylum called Luminar Neo. Maybe you guys have seen this before, but it's pretty crazy how well it actually works and some of the effects that you can do here with little to no knowledge on photo editing. So let's throw on a cool track, and I'm gonna show you guys how we're gonna start editing some of these photos that I've selected here. I've selected 4 different images here, all kind of different scenarios, so that I can show you guys 4 different techniques that I'm gonna use. The first one, I'm gonna pick this. I actually shot this for a thumbnail for a few videos back. We got this image in the forest, and the idea for this was that I wanted all these crazy golden light rays coming in through the back of the image. It didn't really work out that way. The sun was too high, the sky's all blown out, but I'm gonna show you guys how we can actually make it the way that I saw it in my head and make it so much better than what it is currently right now. Jumping straight into the software, it's super intuitive, really easy to use. First thing is you can do all of your sort of basic edits that you wanna do, like the develop tab. This is what you might see in other sort of photo editing software. You can do all of that, you can change it all here, get your colors right, lower those highlights. Smart contrast is really cool. But then there's some other really fun things that I want to show you guys. So remember how I said I wanted all of that sun shining through the background? We can add that in here in the most easiest way. So we can click on sun rays and we can select where our sun is actually going to be coming from, which is right there in this image. Then we can put on the amount, and you can see how it just automatically adds in all of these rays. We can change the effect that it's having, like how much it's washing out of the lens, how much it's actually shining out, how big those sun rays actually are. It's super crazy, and already this image looks way better in my opinion with that like sun flare bursting out. You can change so much more about this. How you guys want to tweak it is up to you, but it's super amazing how you can just add that right in without doing anything. You can even add the number of rays, you can change it. Super crazy, and it doesn't take like any knowledge on knowing how to do it. Something I would like to do is make our warmth of the sun a little bit more, just because of how blown out that background was. It's just like a white sky. Some of the other cool effects that we could do is head to landscape. We could dehaze it a bit. We could maybe make it a little bit more golden. And this is even like if you guys have crazy landscapes. This is very green already, so I'm gonna leave the green. We can also go to color, change our saturation just a bit, maybe bring the vibrance up. Enhance, this is a really cool technique as well. It kind of takes your photo and changes like just the intensity of it almost. I don't really know what this would be the equivalent to in another editing software, because it does it in a way, it's like adding more contrast and brightness, but it's doing it in a really smart way that makes it look really good. So if you were to just take this first image, we haven't edited it much, but if you were to look at the before and the after, this one is looking so much better, so much more vibrant, and just a way nicer overall image. With just a couple of clicks, we hardly had to do anything. So let's take a look at one of our other photos here. And one of the craziest things about Luminar Neo is that it has a really epic sky replacement tool. So on this day we went out to shoot in the dunes. This is a cool photo already, but you can see in the sky, it's just completely whited out. There's no clouds. It makes the whole image quite flat, which can be cool, but in my opinion, we can make this way more moody and like pop a lot more if we start changing the skies. So you can pick like, this is so crazy. You can pick out of all of these different skies that you want, and the AI in the software is just gonna select the sky and magically replace it for you. So I kind of like this cloudy one. It's pretty ridiculous. And then immediately you can see like that is so much more poppy. Let's go with something. I'm kind of liking this one. It like fits the apocalyptic style image. We can also change a bunch of other settings in our sky settings if it didn't line it up perfectly, which in my opinion it seems to do every time. You can also change, you can put the sky like more out of focus if you were shooting on a shallower lens, or you can change the warmth, you can change the brightness. You can tweak this to make it look super crazy. And even with this, maybe we just put on some of this enhance, make it a little more poppy. You can also do sky enhancer if you want it to be more intense, but we're gonna leave it because it already is quite intense. I also just want to take a little bit of the saturation out. And you can see, boom, that is a completely different image from the one that we started with. And let's throw up the before and after right here. And you can see that this one pops so much more just by adding in that sky. We didn't have to like do a whole crazy Photoshop job of masking out the sky and replacing it and finding sky images to put in the background. It's literally just a click. You just click and it's done. Let's take a look at some of our other photos, which is going to be this portrait of Hannah. Now, there's some really cool portrait effects built into here. So we shot this on a really shallow lens, so the background is already blurred out. But if you shot it on a much wider lens, or maybe a cell phone or GoPro, and you didn't have that bokeh in the background, that blurred out background, you can add that in here and it's gonna just change that background without changing the rest of your image. You can literally just select your subject right here and you can just change the amount that you want that background to be blown out. You can change other settings about it, like the size, the softness, and you can just go wild with this. Some other things that I really like is, although Hannah's skin is generally really good and she doesn't have too much going on here, but you can just one click and remove any blemishes in the skin. So if you guys are shooting like a close-up of someone's face, you can remove any like imperfections they might have in their face. Also, if you guys have some really harsh light, maybe it's the middle of the day, you can use the shine removal tool just to matte that out. These are effects that aren't in like photo editing software unless you're really deep diving into some crazy settings and mask layers and doing all these crazy things in something like Photoshop. This is like click of button. You don't have to know anything, you don't have to do anything. There's other like face altering effects in here as well. If you guys want to go like wild with that, you can do things like light up the face. If maybe you shot an image that was super backlit, you can even slim down the face. You can make the eyes pop a lot more, which is something that I really love to do with images. Just draws the viewer more into that. You can even do crazy things like make the eyes bigger, which is insane. This is like a customizable Instagram filter for like beautifying people. You can whiten out the whites of the eyes, red eye removal, improve eyebrows. Like, it's crazy. You can tweak the mouth, give people like more color in the lips, bring them to life more. You can teeth whiten. It's insane. You can like fully customize everything about your image in a way that hasn't really been possible before. I want to show you guys one more image, and that's this one here, because I particularly remember taking this photo and I wanted that background to be like a crazy sunset with all the colors and the orange, and have Hannah and myself standing on that rock, and it just kind of didn't happen. The sun was bright and lit up the whole background and then sort of disappeared. There was no colors or anything. But what we can do, we can go back to our sky replacement and we can select some sort of cool sunset that we can have in the back. And something I would like to mention about the sky replacement and why it is like AI, it's not just adding that sky replacement onto the back. If you have something like water in the bottom of your frame, it's gonna add that sky into the reflection of the water. It's changing the light and the color temperature of the rest of your image depending on which sky you pick. So it's a way more crazy effect than just like putting a background on there. So let's check it out. Let's add our sky. Now, I want like a more sunsetty sky. That already looks insane. You can just click between what you guys kind of really want and pick what fits best with that image in particular. So something like that I think is quite cool. I don't want to go too crazy with that one. That one also looks really nice. I think I'm gonna go with this one because it kind of suits the light. We're not lit up by any sun or anything, so having all of these clouds in there is gonna work really nicely. But then we can change our sky as well. So we can relight it and change that we maybe a little bit darker. If you did have a blown out kind of sky in the background, you can darken your subject. There's reflection and water blur. Let's go a little bit defocus, and we can bring the warmth up a little bit, maybe the brightness up a little bit. Then we could also add a bit of a sun ray from the edge here, which is kind of where the sun would be coming from. Not gonna do anything too crazy on this one, but we could just tweak it a little bit. You can see that is looking so much more of like a popping image than it was before. It was kind of just like plain. We can even take this further and do things like enhance. Let's add this, make it a little more poppy, a little more sky intensity, and that is gonna look way better. Let's throw up the before and after, take a look at these ones and how much better this one actually looks. That's gonna be it. I just wanted to show you guys kind of this like secret little hack to make your edits look as legit as all of the professional photographers online. A lot of people are using this software, and that's how they're getting such crazy images. And then we are just like sitting there using other editing software that you can like tweak the colors and stuff, but you can't do anything like this. And it feels like our photo edits don't look nearly as sick. So give yourself this little cheat code. If you guys want to check out Luminar Neo, I'm going to leave it linked in the top of the description. They have some really good like sign up rates. You can do subscriptions, otherwise you can do flat fees, and it's really reasonably priced compared to other software. So it's definitely worth checking out. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sure that you'll be so stoked with the results you get and your photo edits that you get. You can start posting those Instagram bangers, and your followers are just going to be like, whoa, you guys upped your game so hard. How did you do that? Luminar Neo. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.